evening. Positive salutations to you from the universe. I am your host, Warrior Empress. And yes, we are inside yet another episode of The Feminine Drive. You can find me on Instagram as the Shantwell Queen, D as in dynamic, Shantwell Queen on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook as Warrior Empress, and go up on my YouTube channel, Warrior Empress, where you can view past episodes of The Feminine Drive as well as listen to some of my music. Yeah. So how we going this Friday? You know how to ask you all how you're going. Yes. I hear things might be opening up pretty soon. But you know, they ain't go open up everything. It go be in stages. But it's good news. And the COVID numbers going down. Yes. Really, really good job. So, well done to each and every one of us. Continue doing what you're supposed to do. Don't drop the ball, you know. I get my vaccine, so I'm good to go. No. Continue with your social distancing. Continue washing your hands. And continue doing all what you need to do. Continue doing all what you need to do. But we're looking good. We're looking good, man. We go get through this, of course. We will get through this. Yeah? So this evening, Friday 25th, marks the start of PrideTT celebrations. Yeah? So the persons of the LGBTQ community, they have a number of events taking place. Virtually, of course. Yes, virtually. And we know, listen, being gay, being queer, homosexual, however you want to term it, taboo. You couldn't discuss that. At least I couldn't discuss it as a child. If we found out someone was gay, they were laughed at, and that was the talk of the neighborhood, that was the talk of the town. Life ain't so no more. The thing revolutionized. Persons who are gay are making valuable contribution to society and by extension the world. Yeah? Because they share this global space, they share this global marketplace with all of us. No one can lay claim to this earth. Hold your corner, find your space and live. Right? But no one individual has the right to make another individual uncomfortable. Let me be real. How do you feel when you are uncomfortable? When you are mistreated? When you are discriminated against? How do you feel? People talking about you. You just feel a how, as we just say, you just feel a how. Right? How do you feel when you're telling yourself you're not treated fairly? How do you feel? Well, a person is a person. We are all flesh and blood. So, a lot of times too, we speak the wrong things. We don't have solid information. It's what somebody tell we. And I hear it's so, and I hear, Trinidadians, we good with that. And we run with the false information. And this also causes us to resent people unwarranted. Because we ain't had the facts, but we go on with the information. So, I decided to bring two guests, two persons who are gay, who are openly gay. They decided to come on the Feminine Drive to share their experiences, of what they went through, and to try to help others who are still in the closet, who are still denying who they are. And maybe for good reason. Because some people still fearful of their family finding out where they go live, family go put them out and all that sort of drama. So as I say, probably for good reason, they are still in the closet. But we have two dynamic guests, Faye Ferdinandus, who is the trustee of PrideTT, and we have Rhoma Spencer. Well, listen, if you're in the arts, you must know Rhoma Spencer. I call her Ia. But she now lives in Canada, where being gay is like, hey, snow falling or the sun shining. Nobody worry about that. It's normal there. So she's also going to share her experiences. Yeah? But before we get into the guests, we have to go for our commercial break. Yeah? So we're going to take a quick commercial break, share the live, message your friend, and we'll see you in a few.
Ijo Olorisha charitable organization, unification of people worldwide. We exist to serve humanity. We help those in need. We help with clothes, food, shelter, and so much more. Today, we urge you to help the helpers by contributing to JMMB bank account 007 7000 17168. Thank you for helping us to continue helping those in need of help. Call us at 464-4264. Ashe.
So welcome back inside the Feminine Drive. Yes, for those of you who just join us, welcome to the Feminine Drive. I am your host, Warrior Empress, and this evening we are speaking with not one but two guests. We have Rhoma, Akosua, Spencer, and Faye Ferdinandus. Yes, and in Trinidad and Tobago, today actually the 25th of June, Pride celebration kicked off. They have a month long of celebration. So we have on screen with us our two guests, and we're going to go right into the interview. Yes? So we're going to start with Faye. How are you this evening, Faye?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me on the program. I'm excited to be here.
Nice. It's my pleasure to have you on the Feminine Drive, and welcome. Here is where real women, real life, real issues. Yeah?
Eh, Definitely, most definitely.
So tell us something about yourself, Faye. What part of Trinidad are you from? You know, where you grew up, that type of thing. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a true Trini, and I have lived in many areas. Born and raised in Belmont, but after that, Mount Hope, Mount Lambert, St. Joseph, Diego Martin, Pity Valley, and at the moment between Chagonas and Diego Martin. So from all over, not south, but from all over. So I'm a 57-year-old woman, quite happy.
According to Rio, you've been everywhere. You know, he has a calypso that talks about the man that travel all over. So, in keeping with the essence of this episode, tell us, when did you discover that you were attracted to the same sex? When did that occur in your life?
And that was definitely a discovery. I was about 19 and I actually recognized that I had fallen in love with my best friend. But at that time in the early 80s, being homosexual, being gay, being a lesbian, being someone who loves same sex or prefer the same sex was very, very difficult. And at that time, I did not know anybody else. I thought I was all alone. And how do you navigate how to have this kind of relationship? And I think I did not tell my friend at the time how I was feeling. But we started having difficulties with our friendship and communication. And we ended up standing up on the corner of Picton Street and Marley. Um, and we were just chatting, and you know those conversations that never end. You say goodbye 10, 15 times and you're still having the conversation. And somehow the conversation went to somewhere where I said I love you, and then I quickly said after that, as a friend, you know, you're scared, as a friend. And she replied the same thing, and then we continued talking, and then we said goodbye because she was walking over to her house and I had to walk back to mine. And you sat and you wondered, what the heck did I just do? What did I just say? Yeah, that's how it was.
Wow, wow. And I mean, back then
Yeah.
you're talking some Good. I'm thinking, I'm guessing rather, this could be over like what, 30 years ago?
Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
And I mean, you couldn't run from yourself. And I'm sure back then you tried to. How how did you manage your feelings in going forward? Because, I'm sure you had to work hard to buckle down on those inner feelings. How did you manage it in terms of you're wondering if mommy go find out, you wonder how the family would react? How did you manage those feelings?
Well, it's strange that you bring that up because I think my mother knew and recognized it before I even recognized it because she used to have a difficulty with the fact that I was spending so much time with this person. So before I even had the chance to really haggle with the feelings and try to figure it out, my mother actually caught us having a conversation, but we were in a position where her hand was resting on my abdomen. We were fully dressed, but it was an intimate position, I guess you could say. So literally, things hit the fan and my mother disowned me. So it was a very difficult time for me to accept who I was. And I spent years battling with how am I going to do this? And at the time, there was no organizations, there was no group, and HIV and AIDS had struck Trinidad very heavy. So the topic of homosexuality was not one that you discussed. It was not one that was spoken about, except those people had to die or not be around. So my mother had a horrible time with it. And it was so difficult for me that I ended up having psychosocial and mental issues where I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't keep food down. And if I kept it down, it didn't stay in for very long. And I actually went to a doctor to help me because it affected everything. It affected my work life. I could not, um, how should I put it? I was doing absolutely nothing. And I went to the doctor to ask for some sleeping pills to help me sleep so I could function the next day because I was doing nothing. And he looked at me and he said, I'm afraid to give you these pills because I don't know what you will do with it.
Wow.
And I said to him, it's all right. I'm not going to commit suicide. That's something you don't have to worry about. But I need to sleep. I need to figure out what's going on in my life. And he looked at me and he said, well, whatever it is, you need to talk to somebody about it. And I didn't at that point in time. I actually took some vacation time and I went abroad to a very good friend of mine who was the first person to accept me and said to me, I don't understand it, but I love you for who you are. You are my friend. But she did ask a question. She says, so what do you feel about me? Are you attracted to me? And I said, no. I tend to like my coffee black, but um, you don't have anything to worry about. And she has remained my friend all these years, but I was the first person who supported me and accepted things. So
You,
I had a very difficult time in the beginning, very, very difficult. It took me being in New York and picking up books and reading and trying to understand what was happening with me and how possible it was that I could eke out a life that I would be happy and okay with. But I hid it for a while, a long time.
wow.
It is it is probably why I do the work that I do right now because I wanted to make sure that younger ones coming after me did not have as difficult a time as I had. My mother called my best friend's mother, said to her what's happening between us. My mother threw me out of the house, didn't want to have anything to do with me, disowned me as her daughter for a while. So a lot of things went on.
Um, I'm listening, and I don't think I would wish that on my worst enemy. Having your parents disown you, throw you out the house, going through mental issues. But what your friend overseas told you, that reached me. To say, listen, I don't understand, but I am here for you. I am your friend and I love you. Because sometimes we don't always understand what people closest to us may choose to do. But what they want is the support. just support me now. And that is what I heard coming out of that. She offered her support at a time when you needed it most, you know?
Definitely. It's also striking that as we said before, 30 years later, and we still have parents throwing their children out of the home, telling them you're not welcome here. You're still unable to do so many things, taking them, yanking them out of school, saying they're not going to finish paying for university. Those type of things are still happening today.
Yes. But let me ask you a little intrusive question, not too intrusive. So at 19 is when you said, well, you fell in love with your best friend,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that, were you ever in a relationship with the opposite sex?
Yes. You go to school, you have your little boyfriend. Your parents didn't really want you to date, but with your friends, you talk about it, you walk. You would have had a kiss or two, but no, I was not sexually active at all then. Yeah, I was just one of those good girls, they would say,
Right.
until my mom found out.
So that what we call that the butterflies in the stomach and that kind of feeling, you didn't get that towards the opposite sex.
No, not like that. Not like when I discovered I was in love with my best friend, you know.
Right. And because I wanted to find out if it was shifting from something to a next, you know? Um, there are persons who would give a different testimony of experiencing a heterosexual relationship and now they're in a same-sex relationship. But yours is a bit different. Faye, we're in the year 2021 in Trinidad and Tobago. And as you rightfully said, we still have parents who would throw their children outside if they only find out that they are gay. We still have people who are living in the closet. We still have people who deny that they are gay, right? We have all of those variables in Trinidad and Tobago in the year 2021. How do we go forward? Given all your experiences and what you went through, how do we go forward?
Now, I think we first have to understand, or we first have to let people recognize that we might be a unique person, as in everybody is a unique individual, but we're the same. We have the same things. We get up on the morning, we have coffee or tea, we have a sandwich, that type of thing. Who we have these strong feelings for might be somebody of the same sex, but it's the same type of feeling a heterosexual person would have. It's not about sex. And a lot of people tend to equate it with sex. That's part of it. If you're having a full, loving relationship, you want to show your partner how you feel about them. You want to hold them and hug them just like a heterosexual couple would probably want to do. But the first thing you have to understand is, let's have the conversation. Let's discuss things. Right now, people are just reacting to everything. You know, the church is having the discussion within their different churches right now. The Muslims have had it. Catholics are talking about it. The Pope is talking about it. All the other churches are talking about it. Here we are talking about it now in the month of Pride. But we talk about it all the time. Um, but a lot of people tend to think that we are not human beings, that we're not worth anything, and that our lives are not important. And it's being taken. We have many that have died at the hands of violence. Um, let's just have the conversations right now. Let's just recognize that this is a human being and should be afforded the right. What I do with my personal life does not affect your personal life. I'm not taking anything from you. I might add something to you if you allow me to. That is, if you decide to allow me in and meet with me. I have a lot to say. We can share over coffee. Just have the conversation.
I
Roma?
understand. Yes, because we all in this, I like to call it the marketplace, the global marketplace. We are all in this global marketplace together. And I like what something you particularly said. What I do with my personal life, once it doesn't affect you, let me live. Leave me,
Yeah,
let me live. And this is not just specific to gay relationships. We are talking life on the whole. As we would say in
exactly.
Trinidad, mind your business if it has nothing to do with you, you know. I want to come across to, I call her EI because in my belief system and also the way I was brought up, as they would say, know your place. That's my elder. But before we go to Roma, I want us to go for a quick break. Right? We will be right back. Stay tuned.
Ijo Olorisha charitable organization, unification of people worldwide. We exist to serve humanity. We help those in need. We help with clothes, food, shelter, and so much more. Today, we urge you to help the helpers by contributing to JMMB bank account 007 7000 17168. Thank you for helping us to continue helping those in need of help. Call us at 464 4264. Ashe.
And welcome back inside the Feminine Drive this lovely Friday evening. We are discussing Pride TT. Today, the 25th of June until July 25th, there is a series of events put on by PrideTT in commemoration of, what should I say, their openness, coming out, yes, coming out and celebrating who they are. So we have two guests this evening, if you just join us. We have Faye, Ferdinandus, and Rhoma Spencer. I sure everybody know Rhoma Spencer in Trinidad and Tobago, right? So we're going to go straight to Rhoma. Yeah, good evening, and how are you?
I am doing fine, thank you. I want to thank you, the Feminine Drive, and Gael for entering into this particular discussion this evening. And how could you have a program called Feminine Drive and not have a conversation with women loving women? So
I
thank you
totally
so much.
agree. I totally agree. Welcome. I like your whole outfit, eh?
I thank you.
Yeah. The colors are beautiful in the background.
Oh yes, that's the new pride flag behind there. It, it,
Okay.
it encompasses the two spirited persons, the brown bodies and the Black Lives Matter, Black people bodies. So that's the very newest form of the pride flag. This is the old version that I wear here. So
Alrighty
the
then.
new version, the
Okay.
transgender
Sorry.
persons, two spirited Black lives and the brown bodies as well. So yeah.
Thank you
So
for
thank you.
that explanation. Now we spoke with Faye, and you heard, what Faye had to go through, and whether gay or otherwise, that cannot be right for any human being, right? I wanna ask you the same question about.
Yes.
I know you live in Canada now, but tell us,
Yeah.
what was it like back then, growing up in Trinidad and Tobago? When did you discover your likeness for same sex and that ordeal? Tell us your version of it, or your experience rather.
Well, you know, I like to say that my first experience around having an attraction for the female body, I remember would have been, I might have been around 5 years old. And I remember just loving my neighbor, a big woman. She would have been about 18 or 19 years old. Very much attracted to her. And I remember as a kid, she came down into our yard and she was chatting with my mom. And I, as a little, 5-year-old, way down, probably near her knee, just in awe, just looking at her. And when I couldn't take it no more, I jump up to touch her breast. and, and my mother, of course, scolded me. So I like to say that my first remembrance or memory of having an attraction for the female sex started at 5 years old. However, um, coming of age though, I around in my teenage years, around 15, 16, all those years, again, always having a serious attraction for my best friend. But you can't come, you're afraid to come out to say or express your feelings to her for fear that you will lose the friendship. Yeah. So I went on, did the whole straight thing. And back in the day, we used to call it as if. I don't know if you know that terminology, Faye, but you play what is called you as if, meaning as if you're straight, right? So you have a boyfriend. So, I did the whole, straight thing, had a boyfriend and that sort of thing, but was never ever um, satisfied with it in that I still had that feelings towards my female friends. Yeah. And my very first experience um, having made love to a woman was again with my best friend at the age of about 18. A very, I mean, as far as I can see, she was very straight, very Christian, very all up in the Pentecostal church. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. And I remember she was the one who came on to me. And we dabbled, we did what we had to do best as we can. And it was very strange in that it happened and then we don't talk about it. So it happened in the night, and next morning is like nothing ever happened. That was weird. And that went on for a while, and until, of course, the person migrated, and by the time I was around, I will say at the age of around 28. Let me get my numbers right, eh? I would no, it would have been I would have been 30 years, I believe. Yeah, 1992. I think I would have been 30. When I felt comfortable enough to go to a gay party in Trinidad. And by doing that, when I went to that party, it was my own form of saying coming out because at that time I was a very public person and the party was at a place called Cocoa House. And I remember the moment I got to the party, you could see all eyes was trained on me because it's like, look, Rhoma Spencer in the party,
The life of
Rhoma
the
Spencer
party,
here.
boy.
Yeah. And it was life of the party in no good way, Yeah. It was life of the party to just by Saturday I'm in the party that by Monday morning the whole of town or the whole of Trinidad know that you know what Rhoma Spencer is a lesbian because I was in the party with a woman. So that was my own form of what I call coming out. Um, you know, saying to my public, and my public would have been other like-minded gay, lesbian, and bisexual, transgender community in Trinidad, coming out to them. All right. It was always because I was an artist and involved in theater. There was always this assumption that all of them is a set of lesbians,
Yes, one saying
all of
theater, one
them,
saying the arts.
yeah, all of them, yes, you're one saying the arts. So there was this kind of a comfort level too, that if somebody find out, well, you already declared it for myself. You already know for the fact that I'm okay. I'm in the arts, I'm in theater, so I'm entitled to be gay. You know, that kind of thing. So in a way, there was a kind of a ease. I didn't have that kind of a difficulty as Faye. Faye, I must tell you that you brought me near to tears. Yeah, because I that was not my experience. Right in my family, I had a brother. My brother and my sister was gay and living in Canada. Right, and by the time I, come to my own comfort level around my sexual orientation, I felt I felt a kind of ease because I had a brother and sister that was as well. And my other siblings could not, in other words, they couldn't hate on me
I understand because the
because hating,
precedent more or less was set. But here, let me go back a bit. You said at the age of 5, you
yes,
discovered your attraction for the female body. Yeah?
mhm,
And you went, you stood looking in awe at your neighbor. So that 5 years is very young. I wouldn't even ask you. It's not like Faye at 19 where I ask if she even had a heterosexual relationship. This is 5 years old. And you discovered your attraction. Now,
years old.
some persons would say there is no scientific data that says a person is born gay, right? But here you are, given of your personal experience, 5 years of age, right? You remember that far back where you had this overwhelming attraction to a
Yeah.
female. So I take you back there because we have persons just like yourself who I know male persons who would say, listen, since I know myself, this is how I am. Since I know myself, I never wanted boy toys. I always wanted girl toys. Since I know myself as a little boy, yeah, this is who I am. So then in my mind, and I'm asking you, is it then that persons are born gay?
I I I truly do believe that because I see little 3 year olds, and more boys, and my experience so far is seeing boys more than girls. Um, 3 year old, and you could see within them that there is some gender queerness, so that if in 15 years time I see that child and that child is really out and loud gay, it doesn't surprise me because at 3 years old I could see it. You know, the notion that people become gay, I don't buy into that. Yeah, it's something that is inherently within you. It's in your DNA, if you ask me.
Well,
As I said,
go ahead.
at 5 years old, as I said, at 5 years old, I had this attraction. But yet, growing up, teenage, it's also peer pressure to have a boyfriend, right? Because within yourself, you like girls. But all your other teenage friends, everybody having boyfriends and trying out and having sex. And for you to be seen as not queer or strange, you two, decide, okay, there's this hunt that is on to get a boyfriend.
Yes, at
So
five
that
years
you
old,
two,
your brother, you said your brother and sister, they are gay
yes.
even before you
Mhm.
came out. At 5 years old, where were they? In the home?
Yes, they were, yeah. And my mom used to say that my sister never liked dolls. She was the first girl after three boys, right? So whatever the boys got,
She got.
she wanted that same toys too. And whenever she got dolls, she used to just mash it up, and she don't want no
Now
dolls. She
why
want car and truck and
now why
truck and that
I
sort
asked
of
that
thing.
question is whether or not then behaviors are learned. What is your
Can
contribution
I
to that?
say something?
Sure, sure. Go ahead, Faye.
So, um, we grow up in homes that are basically set up heterosexually, the patriarchy, everything. For us to be gay, we have to go against everything that we've learned, everything that we've seen, everything that we've experienced. So, as Roma said, it is innate in us. It's something that, as you say, we could be born with it. Um, I don't like to go and say, yes, we're born with it, because I think then people would then try to eradicate us by figuring out what gene or what it is that makes one in the family gay and another straight. But we don't have the choice to decide whether we're gay or straight. We just are. The attractions are there. The responses that we get, how we feel at home, what brings us comfort, what brings us joy, how we respond to people, it's just there.
And
That's my contribution.
yeah, and another thing too, as an aside, we all play Dolly House as kids.
Yes.
You remember playing that ear?
Of
Playing
course.
mommy and daddy. I have, I
Yes.
always want to play. I always want to play daddy. I ain't playing no mommy. So that to me was saying something.
Yes. And you make me laugh there, boy. You take me back many moons. But we
With the
all played
powdered milk
mommy
and
and
sugar.
daddy, and even
Yes.
your parents would buy teacup and saucer set for you at Christmas time. So you're
Yeah.
taking that and you're pretending that you're cooking and you're serving breakfast, etc. Of course, right? But I like what you said there. You always wanted to play daddy. You never want to play mommy. Because, I tell you something. And you said that, and also, growing up, you have a lot of girls who are what you call tomboys. They're very boyish.
Yes.
They're very boyish, they're dressing boyish, etc. But,
Yes.
no, this is the other side. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are destined to be gay, right?
Exactly.
What I have heard is that they may have a little hormonal imbalance, a little more testosterone, so they're a little boyish, right? And we have it on the other side. We have boys, from small, they're girly, and that kind of thing, not necessarily destined to be gay. So it is the activity that really makes you gay, yes?
No,
Um,
when you say,
activity? No.
I don't like to use the word devil, but I the devil's advocate this evening, and all you're teaching me. So,
No. 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 No.
no,
What do you mean by the activity? You
oh,
know,
Roma, we on
as you rightly
TV. I
say
can't
there.
tell you what I mean by the activity.
No, no,
so
because you're saying you're saying that a person. God, I should have had a
Okay,
glass of
let
water
me
here
let me
with me.
put it a little more tighter, but I feel you get the gist.
No, but no, but I
we
understand.
know.
We know what you're talking about,
Right.
you know, and there's something called um, there's this all this new language around um, how sex. Let's call it sexuality studies or gender studies 101. Okay, there are indeed persons that are born um, as identify as a boy, okay, but has all these feminine behavior, um, do not identify as a girl, even though that person is a boy. Nowadays, they will say they will use the word, they would not use the word he or she because they are neither he or she. They are called they, them, they or them. Yeah, they or them. Okay? You cannot tell me that that person born this way, as the song by what's her name, Lady Gaga says, the person is born this way. there's no way that their ability to love someone based on the same sex. So if I'm born a boy, but I feel that I am a girl, so I am attracted, excuse me, I'm also attracted to I'm attracted to a boy.
Right.
You getting the gist?
I get in here. I hear with you.
Yeah. Yeah. What that is saying is that there is something I cannot explain or say what it is scientifically, but there is this innate thing that has happened within their DNA that caused them to identify
Yeah.
or have that an attraction like as if it is a boy and a girl. But because what is happening on their inside is about being feminine, okay, then there will be but yet they are what we see before us is a boy, right?
Of course,
They
physical.
will be attracted to a boy because normally a girl is attracted to a boy.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So to say that the activity, that this is something that is how should I put it? In other words, it is oh, I'm losing my vocab. It's learnt behavior. It is not a learnt behavior.
Right. Because
It is
again,
not.
and I
And
deliberately went into a direction, and Faye, I would ask you to just give a little brief contribution on that as well. And I specifically brought that up because, as I said, there is this school of thought where we have girls, tomboyish as we call them, right? Real manish from long time, but they are not gay. We have guys. That's how they are. They're girly. Even their voice. Something is going on the inside. They probably got a little more estrogen and that kind of thing, all right? But they're not gay. So there is this school of thought because of that the behavior is learned. Because you know what? The fact that you get an overdose in female or male hormone don't mean that you should be gay. So this is why I put it out there for you all, as I said, to bring it home and to give the thorough explanation. Faye?
um, I I would probably my childhood people would call me a tomboy, and today people might want to say yes, she's pretty. She she ex, ex, she displays a lot of masculine attributes. For instance, you can lose me in a hardware because I love tools. I would build things, but I will cook and I will clean and I can nurture. So I have
Right.
both the feminine qualities as well as the masculine. And I was a tomboy when I was younger. I was a tomboy as a child because I believed that my father and my parents wanted to have a boy. I was their first child, and was raised in a family where girl children and women were treated less than. And I did not want to tolerate that. And I went out there to prove not only to my parents, but to everybody around that I was just as good as they thought anybody could be. So I would try to be the best. And then at 19, when I learned or discovered my sexuality, I still had to prove myself because here again, I was somebody that the rest of the world looked at as not good enough or not even good to be on this earth, to walk this earth, because people would still tell you, fire burn them, kill them all out, get rid of them, they're not worth it. So I still went out there to be the best that I could be at everything that I do. And I still have that type of attribute. So it isn't about learned behavior because with everything that I had to go through, why would I put myself through the risk of losing my parents, losing my family, losing my job, losing my house,
Wow.
losing my career? Because this is what we are faced with. When you discover that you have uh, feelings for someone of the same sex, or that you prefer same sex relations, it's not the easiest thing to accept, and it's not the easiest thing to navigate. Huh?
in a in
And
an in
even,
a
and you talk
society
about the
that
you
excludes
talk
and
about the active,
discriminates.
right, you talk about the activity, but it's not the activity that makes us homosexual. We have just decided that we are going to live full lives, and that includes having an intimate life. Without the act, you're still who you are, which is
Correct.
someone
Correct.
who, right, which is someone who uh, prefers to form intimate partnership relationships with someone of the same sex. Um, and to me, it doesn't have, as Roma said, there are people who are born a particular way and identify otherwise, um, or or even identify as asexual, where they have no sexual feelings or attractions to anybody.
Ijo Olorisha charitable organization.
So welcome. We on the home stretch. Yeah? And yeah, we still have persons who would join the feminine drive late. I understand it's Friday. Some of you hustling home from work. That's all right. But we on the home stretch here. But we're going to make it a nice home stretch. And we have with us two guests from the LGBTQ society. Rhoma Spencer, who now resides in Canada, and we have Faye Ferdinandus, who is the trustee, yeah, almost a treasurer, trustee of PrideTT. And we had a really nice conversation before we went on the break, and we're going to continue in that mood because, listen, I learning a lot this evening because we in Trinidad, we always know everybody business and how everything does work with everybody except ourselves. So I learning plenty. So Faye, Rhoma, you okay? You
Yes, I
there?
am.
Nice. So Faye gave that nice explanation and capsule it about it is not about activity and it's not learned behavior. And I want to believe you all because I always say to myself, how do you explain a woman or a man who was married to the opposite sex, stayed in a marriage for a while, had children, and then you hear AA? So by so is now in a full same-sex relationship. I used to say to myself, it didn't have no switch there, I feel they were masking themselves all along. And now, you can't take it no more, as Faye said. Before you end up with mental issues, they decide, listen to me, I am coming out. I am one who really believe that isn't you. Don't blame it on nothing or nobody or man bad. So you now decide you will love woman. Or woman bad. So you now decide you will love men. I don't believe it works so. Rhoma.
Yeah. Yeah, like you, I don't believe it works like that as well. Because I know, especially back home, people do go into marriage, for the sake of society. But
Yes.
deep within themselves, they know for a fact that they love the opposite. They love the same sex. But
Correct.
to please the family, to please society, they go into a marriage, and the marriage, it will work for a number of years. But deep
It,
down, that person half of the time is not quite happy,
or they live double
because they are
lives.
living
Or they
they
live
are
double
living a
lives.
lie.
Yeah.
They're living a lie, and
That's right.
sooner or later, they eventually, what they call, come out. Um, I know there are some progressive relationships where they're able to come out to the husband, or the husband come out to the wife and say, this is what is happening with me, and blah blah blah, and the marriage either breaks up or it still continues, because they don't want to be seen as, broken. They have
Broken
children,
home
and they
and
want
the children and
they don't want their children come from a broken home.
that.
So they maintain the relationship, but the husband or the wife or whoever still also kind of almost allowed to
Yes.
have a relationship with the same sex while still maintaining, keeping the marriage for the sake of the society and the children.
Well, as
Yeah.
they say, to each their own. But Roma, did you migrate to Canada because you felt you would have been more happy there to be a gay person?
No, no. I I came here to go to grad school, to study, to do a master's degree in theater and directing. And um and I remember, and I worked back home in radio as a radio broadcaster with government broadcasting unit. And I remember my boss saying to me, Roma, don't bother come back here, once you're there, stay there and make a name for yourself or what have you. And I thought that was the best advice someone ever gave me. So once I graduated, um I was headhunted, right out of school, to work with a theater company as its resident director. And then after, 2 years, I then applied for full-time permanent residency, to live here in Canada. But no, my sexual orientation has nothing to do with the reason why I migrated. What I can tell you is that there was a serious comfort level, once I'm here,
Right.
with regards to my sexual orientation, where someone could ask me, are you gay? Because they suspect or felt it, and I could say yes with pride without having to lie.
Right.
Because back home, had to lie a lot. You deny it. You say people bad mind, people wicked. No, I'm not gay. And you deny, you deny, you deny. But living in Canada, once I moved here, I was comfortable in
Your
my
spirit
skin.
was free.
Yes, very much lifted. Yeah, yeah.
So I want to shift back to
So
Faye. Um, so today, June 25th through to July 25th, Pride TTs they started rather a number of virtual events in commemoration of LGBTQ persons and the fact that they can now come out and be free, and they're just saying, listen, this is who we are. So I had a look at the list of events. I saw it on the Pride page, and Very engaging, beautiful events. Tell us about these upcoming events and what the objective is, the main objective with these activities.
Well, Pride has been celebrated around the world for a number of years. Here in Trinidad, it has been for over 30 years. And it was started um, as a protest, as a celebration, as a commemoration of those who have passed on to HIV and AIDS. And it's all about protest, as I say, and celebration. It's about um, feeling good about yourself, celebrating who you are, being visible. And the pride that we know today, that started in 2018, was as a direct result of the case that Jason Jones had brought against the government here with regards to homosexuality and the other sexual offences acts and so forth that are on our law books. Jason was successful, and the government has decided that they will appeal, but to date, there has not been an appeal. So this case was heard, and the judgment was handed down in 2018. And while we were mobilizing as to how we would accept whatever judgment there was, people came together and had a meeting and decided what we would do. So the Friday before the judgment, we stood in front of Parliament and we said to the Parliament, because there were like 200 plus of us that was there, that we are here, we are queer, and we're certainly not going anywhere. And that we demand, as contributors to the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, and as Trinbagonians, that we deserve recognition for who we are, and not have what we've been having and what we've had to face, the discrimination. If you know our laws, the Equal Opportunities Act, which was supposed to end discrimination, actually has a discriminatory clause in it, which says that this act does not include sexual orientation. So you're okay. But if you're gay,
Colin Robinson bringing that to the fore. Yes.
yes, back in the 80s when they first introduced the equal opportunities and the government asked for community members, community-based organizations and NGOs to give their say. I was a member of a group and we had our first say about what should be included, and we called for the Opportunities Act to include sexual orientation back then. So even before Colin, I was doing the work. But the point of the matter is we are trying to get discrimination to end, not just only, I mean, Colin and they have been working to have HIV and AIDS including, and ageism included. We don't have that. And I'm at the age right now that, I face the ageism. So not only am I a woman, which face discrimination, I'm also a gay woman. I'm also an elder. I'm also a woman that's not small. And in our society, we face discrimination too. A taxi driver don't want you in his car because you're weighing too much. But these are the things that we face that we want to change. And this is what Pride is about. It's about bringing the issues to the forefront. And we have over 30 plus events that range the gamut. Friday, we should be presenting. Normally, we would stand up in front of Parliament, wave our flags, and try to talk to the ministers to get our issues heard. We are not allowed to do that because of the policies under COVID.
Yes.
So what we have done is that we've done a survey, and we've had about 200 responses, which we are putting out to the 41 ministers.
Okay.
This is what our issues are. This is what the people are calling for. We have things where we discuss moms, how two moms raising a child, what issues they have. We have, and of course, the title this year, or the theme is Power Her, where we're focusing on the females of the community, on those that identify as female, and bringing together the issues that they have. Violence against women is rampant in our country and has been for a very, very long time. And we're trying to bring those type of issues also to the forefront. So we have allies and activism where we're trying to bring people who are not LGBTQIA plus, but are allies, are straight and wanting to support their loved ones and those that they care for, or strangers, and they feel that we have been treating in we have not been treated equally and that we deserve to be here. So, those type of things we'll be discussing health, male health, female health. There's a blood drive. There's a vaccination drive also. So, there are
Fantastic.
lots of things for everybody.
Fantastic. And I was about to ask you if you have other groups who are supporting, and you answered it. That's fantastic. Supporting their loved ones, because again, it doesn't make any sense pushing someone to the point of mental issues and making them unhappy. If that is what makes them happy, the best we can do in anything, is support. You may not always understand and agree, but support. I like to say the universe does work things out. I don't think the universe even need help from us. Things works itself out. Rhoma, Ia,
Just,
go ahead, Faye.
I was just going to say, all it takes is a little kindness
Yes,
and recognition that we are human and we're all here to do something.
exactly.
Kindness. That's it.
Rhoma, tell us.
Yeah.
I mean, coming from how much years ago in Trinidad and Tobago, and now you at a more comfortable place in your life in terms of your sexual orientation, and you don't have to face what persons will be facing daily in
At home.
Trinidad and Tobago. What would you like to see in going forward? What would you like to see brought forward in your land of birth that would really gladden your heart, that you could say, ah boy, we going somewhere? Tell us some of the things
Yeah.
you would really like to see.
That there is a law to protect the LGBTQ plus community. I say this and I will just draw a quick example. Some 3 years ago, I took a Calypsonian here before the Human Rights Tribunal because he literally verbally assaulted me on account of my sexual orientation. His behavior was that of like he thought that he's still home in Trinidad. He forget that he was in Canada, that he feel that what that behavior that is accepted at home, where you could cuss somebody and tell them, oh, he is a big stinking lesbian and this, that, he had done, but have you really, really a verbal assault on my sexual uh, um, orientation?
Wow.
I took the person before the Human Rights Tribunal and won. Um, I would like to see, yeah, I would like to see that kind of thing happen at home, where, persons I know are losing their jobs because the boss find out, that they're gay and that sort of thing. Laws to protect persons from that kind of a behavior. Yeah, I personally feel that once I am confident that the time is drawing near, and it will happen. I will see it in my time. The case that was brought up by Jason Jones is just a start. And while we are waiting for the appeal, it's a waiting game. The government know what they're doing because they're playing that waiting game is that game that they're playing with the church. Because at the end of the day, Trinidad is still seen as a very Catholic society. Yeah? And it's just a matter of time. The world has changed. Okay? In 1993, the Supreme Court of Canada allowed for persons to enter Canada as refugees on the grounds of sexual of their sexual orientation. So
Yeah.
you have lots of Jamaicans, were coming in, fleeing persecution in Jamaica, which is, it is a known fact
Yeah.
that you're killed in Jamaica because of your sexual orientation, and they accept it here in Canada. That happened in 1993. And then, of course, prior to that, same-sex marriage and that sort of thing. So, these are the things. This is what is happening in the world today, and Trinidad. Trust me, Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, we are quite a very progressive nation in my eyes,
Right.
but it seems to me that they pick and choose what progress they want.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and this particular progress around the human rights of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and two-spirited persons, I would like to see that in time to come, that they are protected by the law. Just as I said, I was able to take this Trinidadian, Calypsonian, he even sing about me in Calypso and all that sort of thing, took his ass before the human rights. There was rights that protected me. I could go before a tribunal, the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. It took a year, and that's another thing. It didn't drag on for 3, 4, 5 years. It took 1 year.
Yes.
Okay, for the decision, and everything was all about depositions. Everything is written. People, witnesses, and everything. And the only person that went before the tribunal is myself and that man.
He
You see?
probably
And I won.
he probably never heard when you're in Rome, do like the Romans, you will go Canada to waste down
No,
somebody
but
about their sexuality.
yeah, no, but he's a bully. He does that to everybody, and everybody will accepted him and just leave him for who he is. But the buck stopped with Rhoma Spencer when he attacked my sexuality.
He didn't. He
Yeah,
hear about you
yeah,
halfway.
yeah.
He hear about.
And everybody
Well,
was,
yeah, now, Roma, while you're talking, I tax in my brain. I say, boy, I wonder who is that. But you sell him out just now, there. You say he sing about you in a song, so you're not going back and listen.
try your best.
I'm going and do my research because I say, I wonder who is that boy. I'm going and ask Roma, when we come off here. But I ain't had to ask her again. And no, on a serious note, we must learn to respect each other. I mean basic. Basic. You don't have to like me. Respect me now. And that is all.
Yeah. That's all.
So,
That's all
Yeah,
it takes. Be kind. Be
be
kind, and just
kind.
listen to me. Listen,
And
as
as
you
you
said,
said,
listen.
as Faye said, the persons of LGBTQ, they're contributing to Trinidad and Tobago as well, culturally and otherwise. They are people. So, I mean, if it's left up to me, I will go on and take up more than an hour. But when you're having fun and when the discussion is that intriguing, the time does fly. And I know, Roma, you are
Oh
a
my,
very, very busy person. You're involved in Pride celebration in Canada. You're over busy, you know.
yes.
I did get the opportunity to listen to your podcast. Very, very informative. I was in awe hearing the testimonies of persons, what they went through, Yes,
Coming out. Yeah,
really
yeah.
an eye-opener, and we are all humans. So when somebody who's a heterosexual think they went through something, hey, it ain't no different really with the gay person, I feel it worse, so
No, no. Love is love, girl. Love is
exactly.
love.
So
It
I
has
enjoyed the podcast. And Faye, thank you for being a wonderful guest. Thank you for sharing your testimony and what you had to go through at age 19, even onto mental illness, getting put out the house. This is really hurtful stuff. So I want to wish you ladies all the best in your future endeavors. Roma, I am following you. In the arts, as I said, you are my elder. So I will always be following you. Faye, I will be following you now. You know, it's the feminine drive give me that opportunity to make new friends and network. You know, this whole melting pot. It's exciting. Somebody asked me, Warrior, you ain't going back and sing? I said, but yes, my voice still there, but I have discovered a new part of me that was hidden.
Another voice.
Exactly, and I'm loving it. Who say I must only do one thing? I'm a very talented woman. What am I them, Rhoma?
I don't know.
And you continue to grow, and you continue to discover, and you
Yes,
continue to change the world
it's
and impact the world.
that is it.
Yeah,
Let's just, you know,
I personally feel that, you know, this particular episode of Feminine Drive has given you new currency. You have now the language. You know,
Yes.
you can speak with a bit of a little more authority
Correct.
when dealing with the issues of the LGBTQ plus
Correct
community.
is right. Correct is. I and all used to talk plenty stupidness before I talk to all this evening. I'm being honest. So
Yes.
I want to thank you, ladies, on behalf of Gael. You know, all success to PrideTT and their upcoming events. Again, thank you for joining us. So, ladies, have a wonderful Friday evening. Enjoy the rest of the Friday evening. And looking forward to meeting with you again. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all.
Yes, and it's Pride weekend in Toronto, so I will be this my carnival. So
Nice.
happy Pride.
Send pictures.
Happy Pride.
Happy
Happy
Pride.
Pride.
So, I am sure you enjoyed this episode of The Feminine Drive. I am sure if you listened with an open mind, like myself, you would have learned a lot. Yeah? So, until next time, join us every Friday, 7:30 in the Gael for our next episode of The Feminine Drive. Take care and stay safe. Bye. Woman, you're divine.
It happened. Do you want me to stop somewhere so you can buy a roti?
No, we have a roti.
We had little mini rotis. Oh right, no, because I'm a vegetarian and I'm assuming.
I think